Wednesday afternoon, a quaint neighborhood one minute, a crime scene the next, and not just any crime, cops say. A murder. The lifeless body of Vice Mayor Nancy Mateo Bowen inside her own home. Cell phone video shows another scene about a dozen miles away. The area quickly engulfed by law enforcement. An apartment complex in Plantation. Sources telling Local 10 this is where they nabbed the husband.
Today we're going to be in Coral Springs, Florida, a city located about 20 miles northwest of Fort Lauderdale, speaking about a tragedy that unfolded inside a quiet gated community. A community where if you generally hear loud noise, it's from lawn work, outdoor house projects, or families just having a nice time outdoors. So no one would have ever foresaw what would take place on April 1st, 2026, and everything would change for the worse in that close-knit community. Inside one of the homes behind the gates, a prominent Coral Springs and Broward County figure was found unalive, shot multiple times, leaving a big scar not only in her community, but an even bigger scar in the political world. 38-year-old Nancy Bowen had built a nice life for herself and was in the midst of being a game changer in the political world in South Florida. Her parents, originally from Haiti, would move to the U.S. many decades back, looking for the American dream, and they found it. Nancy was raised to believe that anything she wanted to do in her life, she could. After finishing up high school with the class of 2006, she went on to attend Florida A&M University, where she obtained a Bachelor's of Science, and from there she earned her Master's of Health Science from Johns Hopkins University. Nancy became a distinguished public servant and the first Black Haitian American female commissioner of Coral Springs, Florida. Nancy was elected in 2020 and re-elected in 2024, and on November 13, 2025, she was appointed to serve a second one-year term as vice mayor for the city of Coral Springs for her fellow commissioners. Nancy's dedication to public service spawned a remarkable career addressing a wide range of issues, from environmental work to disaster relief. Before her role on the Coral Springs City Commission, she led environmental justice efforts across the state of Florida, focusing on enhancing community resilience. Her political journey began in high school, where she served as her school's president of the Student Government Association. As an environmental scientist and a former member of the Broward County Soil and Water Conservation District, Nancy had applied her skills across different governmental agencies and nonprofit organizations. Her work had been instrumental in addressing water crisis and responding to major natural disasters, including hurricanes. She was literally a mover and shaker, and she was involved in so many different things and truly made a positive difference in her community. As for her personal life, she met and fell in love with a man by the name of Stephen Bowen. Stephen was someone Nancy knew at least from high school, and the two were said to have been crushes back then, but they thought they had lost that chance. However, that chance would come back around, and this time they decided on forever. The date was November 22nd, 2022, when the pair said I do to forever in a beautiful outdoor ceremony. As for Stephen's professional life, he was a geologic technologist, assisting geologists and engineers by collecting and analyzing earth samples, operating field equipment, and compiling data for natural resources exploration. He also worked in a lab and in the field mining and oil sites, performing core analysis, mapping, and testing for minerals, oils, gas, and groundwater. Outside of that, he was also the chief operating officer of Men of St. Luke's, a nonprofit that described itself as focused on providing men with the resources to develop godly character and equip them to influence their world for Jesus Christ. He was also involved with a Masonic lodge, and he was also in a competitive shooting club, according to his social media posts. It is very clear that he enjoyed shooting guns, and that was one of his favorite pastimes. Now, it is unclear if Nancy felt any type of way about him loving guns so much, which is perfectly fine and to each his own. However, her family had gone through a dark tragedy involving guns in 2018. Her younger brother was a student and a victim who survived Douglas High School mass shooting in Parkland, Florida. On February 14, 2018, when 19-year-old Nicholas Cruz walked into the high school and opened fire, taking the lives of 17 people and also injuring 17 more. Even though her brother was a survivor at the time, he changed his life for the worse and he will ultimately do the unthinkable to himself in December of 2025. A few months after his passing on the 8th anniversary on February 14, 2026, she would write, 8 years ago today, our lives were forever changed when a shooter took 17 beautiful souls and changed countless other lives after. What would life look like if that day never happened? The last 2 months have been about learning to breathe again without you here, and how to carry love and loss at the same time. Valentine's Day is here, a day meant for love, yet my heart sits with what could have been. Today I hold a space for my Donnie, for the 17, and for every family still navigating life after unimaginable loss. I'm sure losing a child was something her parents never imagined, and she never imagined that her brother would do what he did. Sadly, within months of losing her brother, her parents would get even more tragic news. As for Nancy and Stephen's marriage, she frequently posted about her husband, describing their love for one another and how they supported each other in hard times. On their second wedding anniversary, she wrote, 2 years with this amazing Stephen Bowen. Cheers to love, growth, and building a beautiful life together. And on the third anniversary, she would write, 3 years of building, dreaming, and loving each other through everything. Now, even though no one's life is perfect, their life seemed to be going good. There was no red flags, and they truly looked like they were the perfect power couple. Tragically, all of that would change April 1st when law officials did a welfare check at their home and found Nancy unalive. According to law officials, one of Nancy's coworkers couldn't reach her, and when they reached out to Stephen, he seemed very suspicious, prompting them to think that something bad had taken place.
Mr. Bowen, good morning, sir. You're charged with one count first-degree premeditated murder. You're also charged with one count tampering with or fabricating physical evidence.
No bond for 40-year-old Stephen Bowen, who faced a Broward County judge Thursday, a day after his wife, Coral Springs Vice Mayor Nancy Mateo Bowen, was found inside their home. Police said after text messages were made to her husband by the commission manager as to where she may be, investigators said Bowen responded, texted her. She's not picking up. Where is she? Her car is not at home. Investigators said Bowen confessed to his uncle that he shot his wife because he couldn't take it anymore. His uncle went to investigators, who then made their way inside of the vice mayor's home. It's there she was found wrapped in a blanket and trash bags after being shot.
It's a devastating, loss, not just for Coral Springs, but for the people of Broward County.
She cared about students. She cared about seniors. She cared about the environment. She cared about fairness. She cared about equality. She cared about her culture.
Vice Mayor Mateo Bowen, a leader and a voice for so many. Florida Congressman Jared Moskowitz posting on X to say he was just with her Saturday, calling her a fighter and sharing that she was preparing to announce her run for Congress.
There will never be no clear justification for taking someone's life in that manner. The fact that he sat in the home overnight with his wife's body upstairs is so disturbing. It looks as if he went to his uncle with hopes of possibly covering up what took place and maybe skipping town. But gratefully, his uncle was not willing to be on board for something so disturbing. She was a person who was making big strides to help so many, and now she's gone, and that should not be the case. Her life mattered, and she should still be here. My thoughts and prayers go out to everyone hurt behind such a senseless act. Please don't forget to let me know your thoughts. Also, don't forget to comment your prayers for everyone involved and hit that like button and share to make your people aware. And as always, remember to stay woke. Things change quickly.